good day. Relatively early start for me today again. It's about 8:30 in the morning. Temperature is 18 degrees. Nice and sunny and clear right now. I am in the city of Nanaimo, British Columbia. We're here visiting our daughter and her fiance. They just moved into a new place. And we thought we would spend our vacation here. We have a really nice Airbnb in this relatively new area here in Nanaimo, off of Hammond Bay Drive or Road. So I thought I would just do a quick walk here to start the day. And other than the seaplane, right now I'm the noisiest thing around here. A lot of cars around. So I really don't know when people go to work around here. Maybe that's just the way the world is now. Every house has 3 or 4 cars. Real estate prices here are fairly high, so you've probably got multi-generations living in a house. A few places for sale in here. Common practice here, because of housing affordability, is to basically have a basement suite as a rental property or an Airbnb, just to try and offset your costs. Especially these new neighborhoods where a house can be, oh, I'm gonna guess $800,000 or $900,000. That's some nice landscaping. One thing you'll find in Nanaimo too is a lot of it is, because it's seaside, a lot of everything is built on a hill. My intended goal this morning anyways is to get to Pipers Lagoon, which isn't too far away, and see what we can see there. Some pretty steep hills in these neighborhoods. So as I make my way down to sea level, I will again have to huff my way up to where we're staying. I thought that was a nice trail into the trees, but somebody's driveway. That would have been embarrassing, eh? Walk right into their yard. Hi, just looking. Not much in the way of sidewalks here either. You just kind of walk in the shoulder of the road. Nanaimo used to kind of be the red-headed stepchild to Victoria, BC. But as Victoria grew and housing got so much more expensive, people started migrating up the island to Nanaimo, which has it's allowed Nanaimo to become a little bit more of an appealing city. Not that it wasn't appealing before, but it just was not growing at a fast pace. But the last 20 years, it's gotten almost too big. Lots of people retire here or trying to get here for the mild weather. I know I've looked at it several times, but just don't want to have to lower our standard of living with the extra housing cost here. And the extra other costs associated with living on the island. Things are slightly higher in the way of groceries, fuel. Mind you, I've seen fuel in the Vancouver area a lot higher than it is here, so all that's variable. I'm going to dart across the road here. And see if there's a off the main dragway to get there. Nope, it's all private property, so that won't do. Let's just carry on. It wasn't that far down the road to the park anyways. My wife and I have different vacation schedules. I still end up getting up early, and she likes to sleep in, so it gives me an opportunity to get off my butt and head out and see the sights around us. These houses on my right look like they have a nice view of the cove. You can't tell through all the trees, but the ocean is just beyond there. Now, this looks like an interesting trail into the trees. It says beach access, so let's give it a shot. You gotta love the foresty areas in BC and on Vancouver Island specifically. You don't generally see these huge pine and spruce trees in Alberta, towards the prairie side of Alberta anyways. This little walk is not for the faint of heart. And sadly, my whole way back to my Airbnb is going to be uphill. So we'll just continue down to the ocean and worry about that later. God, the size of these trees just confounds me. And here we are. I think that's the parking lot for Pipers Lagoon. Of course, being down by the ocean here gets a little breezy. Imagine this will be good and busy this weekend. The weather is going to be nice and moderate, mid-20s. She's a beautiful thing. Well, let's walk along the beach and around the little bit of a trail in Pipers Lagoon. I don't think there's a big trail system here, but it kind of takes you along the ocean and then up into that treed area over there. About a dozen people walking the beach out here, taking in the early morning sun. Early morning being like probably close to 9 o'clock Pacific time. I'm going to assume this area is lacking water because it's low tide. Don't quote me on that. This part of the trail is quite easy to traverse. Kind of a light shale area and fairly flat. So much for the easy part. This is just a little hill right down to the ocean here. I assume those logs rolled in at high tide at some point. Big rocks are hard to walk on. A little ocean wave ASMR. Peace and tranquility with somebody's lawnmower ruined. Well, let's just take a walk around this part of the lagoon, see what we can see. Didn't research this very well at all, but looks like we might be able to take a nice walk around this point here. There's people heading that way and they're just kind of out for a little mosey, so I'm gonna head this way and probably pass them going the opposite way. I think this probably makes a loop around this area. Not quite a straight through path. Had to do a little rock scaling there. Grasses here are pretty dry. You would think with all this moisture around it would be less brown. This is a used path, but not what you'd call a groomed trail. Probably pretty typical as you're walking along the rocks. I'm walking very gingerly through here. Don't want to injure myself and prevent me from having a good vacation. See? Gotta pay attention, Tom. Don't need to roll your ankle. Let's stick to the trees here for a bit. Quite windy out on this point here. I don't know what those shacks are over there. If anybody knows, write it down. Okay, my weak-ass mariner knowledge would say that at high tide, the water spills over there and fills up the lagoon. Okay, I just passed the guys that I went the opposite direction of. So obviously we're going to make a loop around this point. This is rough trail, so watch your ankles. These stones sticking up can certainly cause you some grief. Someone's little ladybug artwork. Now, I'm wearing my hiking shoes and saying be careful, and I just passed a lady wearing flip-flops, so what does that say about me and my agility? It's trails like these that kind of remind me that I'm a walker, not necessarily a hiker. But I can get better. Let's look at this viewpoint here. More ocean. But you just got to keep your wits about you. Be mindful of your steps. I do love the natural beauty of this place, though. I take it geese don't have an issue with salt water, eh? We've seen them in fresh water and in salt water. One thing about being by the ocean, lots of humidity. My clothes are sticking to me like shit to a blanket. Well, let's just take a walk along the beach here. Try not to get too much sand in my shoes. Yeah, people just love to sit out here and have the sun on their face. Flip rocks over, look for little crabs and stuff. It is sandy and soft, but it's not a nice Bermuda beach. Walk a little closer to the water here. Tis a beautiful morning. Quite a bit rockier over here. Off in the distance there is Departure Bay, where the ferries come in near downtown. Love the haze across those mountains in the background there. Okay, well, let's start heading back. Start our day. Need to have some breakfast yet. Let's find that beach trail again and start our uphill climb back home. Back into the forest we go. The little sign makes it sound like, oh, just a few stairs down and you'll be at the beach. Sadly, that's not true. Beautiful aroma in here. If I had smell-o-vision, I would share it with you. These huge cedars. Oh, look at that. Mundane man effect. Stairs. More stairs. Just a few though. Well, we made it to the top without too much loss of lung power, but I'm huffing and huffing. I might have to get smarter and not don the black exercise jeans. Even though it's only 20 degrees, that's pretty feels pretty warm. Especially on the climb here. I think I need to dart across the road here to stay in the pseudo sidewalk, which is just a white lane or white line painted. These bi-levels seem to be the popular choice 30 or 40 years ago when they were built. Someone must have made good money on that design. More climbing back into the neighborhood. When I checked this area on Google Maps, it hadn't been updated. And most of this used to be just like 2 or 3 houses back here. Obviously a developer bought them out and put in this neighborhood. Sure maximize their money on that investment because the houses are really densely built in here. Looks like some of them though would have a nice ocean view off their deck up there. These are steep climbs though. I can see why they shut the city down when it snows here on the rare occasions. This whole road is a one-way loop, so you can only go in that way and then you come around and out that way. Okay, that house there, 1.45 million for a 33,000 square foot house. This one's 2 million. But I think it has a pool. Just hold on a second here. 156, yeah. So they are certainly not giving these houses away up here. 1.3 million for that one. And it is, well, it's 3,600 square feet, so large basement spaces, I guess. So I guess that's how you got to do it here, right? You have to have a suite in the basement and have a tenant or a Airbnb to help pay for the mortgage. Must be the potential view, I guess, some of these houses might get, but 1.3 million seems like a lot of money. And this one's 1.35 million as well, 3,600 square feet. So they are large houses, but I don't know. What a person can get on the prairies versus what you have to pay out here is triple. Well, we're just about home. Let us see how we did. Okay, that was 5 kilometers in an hour and 16 minutes. Not easy kilometers though, I'm going to tell you that. So, not the greatest pace, even though it says it's my second fastest. I don't believe it. So just a quick view of Pipers Lagoon and the ocean there, and we'll carry on with our day until the next one. Side trip to Coombs, BC. We've been here a few times. Looks like it's starting to lose its luster. A few of the stores are gone now. This is kind of the main plaza or whatever. There's a grocery store on the other side. I'll see if there's anything going on over there. Nice old church here. This is the shop that normally has the goats on the roof, on their grass roof. I don't know if they've moved them or they're just hiding out of the sun. This Billy Ruff ice cream shop is pretty popular and has pretty good ice cream. And your typical shops everywhere. This area here is where the old-time grocery store is. This is the area that's a bit of a zoo. Lots of Asian clothing and statues, that type of thing in most of the stores. Interesting place to visit once.
Hey, can I put you down?
I've been here 3 or 4 times. This is probably the last time I really need to be here.
That's one part of the reason why.
This is essentially just a tourist trap, but worth seeing once.